That's cool. So now let us create a new element, and let's just call it text area. So that is going to be just a paragraph. So we say UI.p. And what is that going to say? Well, we're going to say set UI.text of that to be the string we get when we try to render the state. Now, what is the state? Well, we have to generate the state, right? We say, hey, hangman state is a lift IO. So this is how we do IO operations, like we did in line 53. When we click the button, we say new hangman. So we generate a new hangman puzzle, and then we render that man state. Let's have it like this. Okay, and then let's see if this works. Okay, right. We need some extra functions. I didn't copy those over, so we actually need data.list, and we need data.char just for this hangman. Okay, we compile it, and it works. So let's look at what we have. We reload the page, and it says yes. Okay, yeah. So what happened now? Well, we created the element, but we didn't add the element to our list of things that we want to add to the body. So we say get body window, and we want to add the text area before the button. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, we add the text area, and all right, now we have this. We have the words, like the empty spaces. We have a list of what we guessed, but we haven't guessed anything so far, and we know how many guesses we have left. Now, we're gonna do like a simple trick, because we have new lines here. This is supposed to be in each and separate line, but it doesn't do that by default. So what you have to do is you have to look at the element, and then we want to change that element's style. How do we change the style? Let's see. Okay, let's we want to edit this element. No, this is usually, it's like a sidebar usually there. Okay, there it is. So we want to change this thing, and we want to say that the white space should be treated as a pre-line. Okay, and then we get these lines here. Wait, is it pre-line or is it pre-wrap? Okay, so if we set the white space to pre-line, let's just have a pre-line. If you set the white space to pre-line, it's going to render it as these boxes, right? So that's kind of nice. So how do we do that here? We say that for our text area, we're going to set this UI.style to be a list of properties, and this is going to be white space and pre-line. Okay, we save, and then we start the server again. Okay, and then we reload and see, now it's like this from the start. Okay, but now we rendered the state, but now we need some way to interact with it, right? We need a way to make yeses. So how do we do that? Well, we will add an input field. So let's say here, input is going to be UI.input, and the input itself is going to just be a very simple input. So we just say UI.input, and then we can just add that here. But let's add it right before the button. So we get kind of a natural element input. Okay. And now we run it again, and it's here, and now we have an input. Now we can write stuff. But we only want to be able to guess one letter at a time. So now we have to set the attribute of the input. So we do hashtag set UI.maxLength. So we want the maximum length of the input to be 1. And then we also want the minimum length of the input to be 1. So let's save this. And okay, we can't say min length, but we want the max length to be 1 at least. And that makes sense, right? It will start off to be empty, so we can't really say that it should be at least 1. Okay, now let's see. See, and now I try to type, as you can see on my keyboard, but it only types in the first letter. Okay, so now we have some input. But now we want to feed that input into our state. right? So we need to add an event. So when we click the button, let's change this into guess made. We want to find out what is, what is the value of the input when we click the button. Well, we can do that pretty easily. We just say val is get input value. Okay, and let's just say print it and say print value was val. Okay, what did it say? Okay, we don't have okay, I think it's get value input. Sorry, I mixed the arguments up there. Let's run it. Okay, compile it, links. And now we can say A here and click yes, and it will tell us that the value was A. So now we've gotten input from the user via the browser to our Haskell program.